What's up, guys? Lamech here. The Insane Disappearances back once again for the head scratching and just all out weird story for you today. Coming to you once again with some with a story. This isn't a new story. This actually happened in 2016, so it's about a year old. Because I think this happened in June, so the anniversary of when he was last seen, when he was reported as a missing person, already passed. This one is about a very famous case that David Paulides talked about on Coast to Coast, frequently. This is a man who, by the name of George Penca. It's P-E-N-C-A. More often than not, you got so many people that disappear in national parks over some of the weirdest and strangest reasons. They're going on a day hike with a group of people, and somehow they disperse from each other. And they're supposed to meet back at the campsite, but when that was supposed to happen, 1 out of, say, 5 people don't make it back to the campsite. They go look for the person all over the place, in the places where they know the person should have been, or the trail they should have been traveling on, and they're never found. They go back to the campsite, they get to the ranger station, they file a missing persons report, and next thing you know, a huge search goes out in all directions. I'm talking like hundreds of people, searching for him with dogs, cadaver dogs, helicopters, boats, you name it, they got it, and then you got your search and rescue teams, the SAR teams. They all over the place, and they never find them. And then all of a sudden, guess what happens? A freak storm comes in out of nowhere right after the person goes missing, and that actually hampers the search efforts, with a lot of rain and whatever and mud. So it gets called off, and then they start back up after everything clears up. And then at that point, all of the evidence that could have led to where he either was traveling to, what trail he was on, or where he may have ended up at gets washed away by the rain and the mud. Very, very, very ridiculous, but it does happen. So that is why I'm here, folks, so that you can understand the reasons why people are disappearing in national parks. Because I got the scoop. You should have the scoop as well. Because if you keep thinking that it's a serial killer in the national parks or in the national forests or in our urban areas, that is not the case if they don't leave any evidence stating that it was a killer. Now, if you know that's not happening, why are you going to say it was probably a murderer or a killer or da-da-da-da? No, that's not happening. That's not happening today, people. It is not. What it is something so far out there that we will never be able to fathom exactly why or who or what these things are. I can tell you who it is. I've already told you who it was in a past video that I did when I told you about a man named Derek Tyler. And he hit the nail on the coffin when I heard him on Coast to Coast and he was talking about certain things that matched up with a lot of the things that happen when people disappear. And that is the fact that most of these people that are found dead, they only find their bones. But the way the bones are found, it looks like somebody or something ate them whole and only left behind one tiny little piece of bone or the top of their cranium. So, with that being said, do you think a person could do something like that, like a cannibal? I don't think so. Or a wild man? I don't think so either. But we're going to get to the bottom of this, and I hope that one day we will get the answer, even though I already know the answer. It's just a matter of you believing it, and it's a matter of the entire world knowing that that's what it is and making it known that we do know, so they will stop lying to us and give us the exact truth of what is going on here. We all should have a right to know. We're talking about our families that are being taken from us, our children that are being eaten alive by some creature that loves to eat children. Okay, and I'm just saying it outright because it's the truth. Just like Jerry Adadero or any other person that was found there, where they only found tiny little bits of bone and a tibia that was inside of a sock. What animal do you know does that? Bears, they kill the person that they're trying to attack. They don't eat them, and if they do eat them, they gnaw at the body parts, like the stomach, or they gnaw at the meat, and then they just walk away. They're like the French. They only eat a little bit and just keep on moving, or they'll save it for their family, the cubs, and they'll gnaw on it until it's all nothing but bone. And if they don't do it, the other animals, including bugs and all kinds of stuff, will gnaw at the body until there's nothing but bone left. I've seen it happen with a deer carcass, where they did that little time lapse speed up thing, where you go from watching a corpse, like a dead animal, to the bone, and you see what comes in. All these little bugs and gnats and worms and all kinds of nasty looking stuff come in. They eat at the body, including vultures. And then after that, when the time lapse video is over, you won't see nothing but bone. So, with that being said, like I said, today's show is about a man named George Penca. Okay, let's get started, shall we? Now, this is an update about the search for a missing man in Yosemite, which was scaled back. Now, this happened in, like I said, in 2016. So, the article, I don't think it says exactly what year it was posted, because it's in Mammoth Times. Yeah, that's the name of the newspaper that showcased this case. But anyway, in light of all that, the search continues in Yosemite National Park for missing hiker George Penca, who was last seen at the top of Yosemite Falls on Friday, June 17th. Due to the fact that the area has been thoroughly searched by personnel and dogs, the terrain is rugged and steep, and no clues have been found. Search efforts are being scaled back. Penca from Hawthorne, California, began hiking the Upper Yosemite Fall Trail on June 17th with a group of 20 people from his church. The group dispersed at the top of the waterfall and later regrouped to hike back to Yosemite Valley. Penca did not meet back up with the group, and a missing persons report was filed later that night. Initial search activities began on Friday night, June 17th, with group search and rescue personnel searching the area Penca was last seen. A full-scale search operation was initiated on Saturday, June 18th, including approximately 105 search and rescue personnel, 2 helicopters from Yosemite National Park and Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Parks, dog teams, and 14 California County search and rescue teams. The search area included 70 square miles of rugged terrain ranging in elevation from 4,000 feet above sea level to 8,000 feet above sea level. The change in search strategy was implemented after the review of continuing risk exposure for search and rescue personnel and lack of clues as to Penca's location. Yosemite National Park's search and rescue teams will remain in the Yosemite Falls area and will continue group search efforts. Yosemite National Park is asking anyone in the area of the Upper Yosemite Fall Trail who may have information on George Penca to please call the Yosemite Emergency Communications Center at 209-379-1992. Penca is 5'10" tall, weighs 240 pounds, and has dark brown hair, blue eyes, and a stocky build. He was last seen wearing gray sweatpants with white stripes, and a black t-shirt that says DMB across the chest, or a black tank top, and gray-blue running shoes. Excuse me. I just got a haircut today, so these little tiny hairs are getting in the way. Gotta wash my face again. But anyway, agencies involved in the search for Penca included Yosemite National Park Search and Rescue, Inyo County, Mono County, Mariposa County, Marin County, Fresno County, Tuolumne County, China Lake, Los Angeles County, Nevada County, Sierra Madre, Yosemite Search and Rescue Dog Teams, Sequoia and Kings Canyon National Park, and California Explorers Search and Rescue. Whew! Oh man, that's a mouthful. But anyway, see, with cases like this, it's like I always tell you, and this is what David Paulides always tells you. Before you go on a day hike, an evening hike, a night hike, whatever the case, well, you can't go on a night hike because you can't see nothing. But anyway, if you go on a day hike and you're with a group, there are a couple of things that you have to have with you. Now, he got it right a little bit when they say he was wearing a black t-shirt. In order for you to actually stay unmissing while you're going to, I suggest, and this is what David Paulides suggested, because of the people who go into these parks with the stuff that they wear. He says a lot of people who turn up missing in these national parks are wearing bright clothing. Now, he would suggest that you wear nothing but dark clothing, like say some black sweatpants, a black shirt, black socks, black shoes, a black cap, and maybe you need to be a black person in order to get through. I'm just playing. Don't pay me no mind. That was a really terrible joke. But anyway, you need to wear dark clothing, because he said that I think he was either I think somebody called into Coast to Coast AM and said that there was a story, like a real old story, about these beings that lived in the forest that were attracted to bright clothing. Now, I don't know how true that is. I'm not saying that it is true or isn't true, but that's what the person said. That's like some type of folklore story that he may have heard when he was a child or sometime during his adulthood. But it's just kind of ironic how every single person was wearing bright clothing when they disappeared, or vanished rather, or was found dead. Okay, so the idea would be for you to wear dark clothing at all times when you're going into a national park. Therefore, you're not going to be spotted by whoever is attracted to bright clothing. Then, of course, one of the main things is to have or purchase a personal locator transponder, okay, sat phone, and a licensed firearm. Now, David Paulides has said in the past that he thinks that in order for you to carry a licensed firearm, you would have to make sure that that license is for that county or that state alone. I think if you have a licensed firearm from another state, you can't enter the park with it, or you may have to have a license for that particular state. I'm not sure. I would have to check into that to find out. But having a licensed firearm is requireable when you're going into the national parks or the national forest. Also, you want to stay with your group. Don't go astray from the group. Okay, if you want to go take a piss, if I were you, I would take out your stuff and pee while you're walking with these people. Just turn to the side so it won't splatter nobody. But I'm staying with that group. I'm not gonna go away. I'm not gonna fall behind or anything, because I think that's what happened with George Penca. He fell behind, probably wanted to tie his shoe or catch his breath, and when he looked back, poof, he was gone. And that happens, like I said in my last video, that happens with a lot of people who tend to end up missing when they fall behind or get ahead. They fall behind to tie their shoe, and it takes like roughly, I'd say about maybe a good 10 to 15 seconds to tie your entire shoe if it's just that one shoe. Then you stand up and rush yourself back to your group. But before you can even tie your shoe completely, they turn around just for spite. You know how you do this. It's just a regular, natural human reaction where you just turn around to see the person that was tying the shoe, and you look back and say, wait a minute, he was just right there. He was tying his shoe. Where'd he go? Maybe he tied his shoe and went off the trail and get back to the campsite. But the campsite is back that way, not over there, through the brush. So where did he go? Maybe he wanted to take a piss and he decided to go off trail to pee in the brush. I don't know. But still, that is what happens with these people. They tend to look, they stop, catch their breath, or tie their shoe, drink some water, then they look back and poof. Before they can even turn completely around, they're already gone, because they time it just right so that you can be taken before they can even lay their eyes on you. And so these people, these beings, they're like timekeepers. They know exactly what time and when to take that person. Even if you're right there with a group, you can just disappear just like that. Just like the ones that disappear while they're in the club, or they're being cloaked by something, which makes them invisible to everyone else. So that way they can just walk out of the club and act like nothing, then that's when they're taken. I don't know. Yeah, but with him, it said that he fell behind. They don't know for what reason, but he fell behind and poof, he was gone. So whatever happened to him, we don't know. and we probably never will know. I hope that we do one day. But if we do find out, I don't think it'll be something that we'll be able to handle. You know, that is not true. Why are you lying to me? Why can't you just tell me that a serial killer did it? Because that's not what did it. There's no evidence of a serial killer in the park on that day. There's no evidence of a serial killer that could say that he killed your loved one, because there is no evidence left behind, like blood splatter, brain matter, because he probably could have cracked him over the head with a rock just to subdue him. Or the fact that there's just nothing left of him. Everything I think that he had was left at the campsite because he was just hiking. All of his belongings were gone that he may have had with him. The belongings went with him for some reason. I don't know why. But it is what it is. He goes into a national park and hikes on a trail near a waterfall, and poof, he disappears. Now, like I said, how that could happen, I don't know. One day maybe we will find out. But anyway, I got another one for you. This is the story I was trying to read to you yesterday, but I couldn't because my computer was acting all wonky, like, you know. But this story is about a man named Peter Jackson. And Peter Jackson is, at the time when he disappeared, he was 74, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't list his age. I think it said he was 74, I believe. Yeah, 74 years old. But anyway, to start off, due to the lack of new clues and incoming inclement weather, the Jackson search has been placed in a limited continuous mode as of October 2nd, 2016. This means that active searching in the field has ceased. However, any clues that are developed will be followed up by the investigators or search teams, depending on the type of information gathered. If you have any information about Peter, please call 209-379-1926 during business hours, or 209-379-1992 after hours. Peter is believed to have gone on a day hike from his campsite at White Wolf Campground and never returned. It is unknown when he left or which direction he headed. Peter had texted his son on 9/17/16 saying he was on his way to Yosemite. His vehicle was found at White Wolf Campground, site number 58. And his site was paid for until 9/21/16. Peter is a 74-year-old white male with a slender build, 5 feet 10 inches, 155 pounds, with blue eyes, gray hair, and beard. He is in excellent physical condition with no medical concerns. He has a royal blue outdoor products day pack. A description of other gear and clothing is not available. Okay, now this man here is, like they said, in fairly good condition. You know, he's able to do all the things that he does, like hike and, you know, jog and all that stuff. But he goes into the park, and what happens? He goes to White Wolf Campground, and he never returned. So the biggest upset about all of this is trying to figure out, what is it that these people saw before they disappeared? What was going through their mind at the time when they saw what they saw and realized there was nothing they could do to get out of it? Now, if there was something that they could do, like run, I'm pretty sure that whatever it was overpowered them or engulfed them in some sort of way to where they weren't able to actually run away or fight off whatever it was they saw. Or maybe he just walked into oblivion, like some wormhole opened up that was invisible to the naked eye, and he walked right into it, and poof, he was gone. Now, is he still alive? I don't know. Could he be living in another dimension somewhere, or on another parallel Earth, or even on another planet? Don't know that either. Could he have been sucked into a void that was basically a void of air, and he suffocated while being sucked into some kind of wormhole? Nobody really knows. It could be anything. But I can guarantee you it wasn't a serial killer. It wasn't a mountain lion. It wasn't any kind of wild animal, because there would still be some evidence of him being found, like remains or bones, while he still had his clothes on. No trace whatsoever. He looks like a decent young man, looks like he's, in good health. But the one thing I've noticed about a lot of these cases, the ones that have been doing this for years, it's like whatever takes these people wait until they've had all the experience in the world, or they wait until everybody notices that he got that much experience. And then when they least expect it, poof, they take him. And then they start saying to themselves, how could that be possible? I mean, he's an expert in hiking. He's been doing it since he was like 6 years old. How could he just disappear like that? It's impossible. He's not that kind of person. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think that he is an expert in what he does. But they also want you to know that nobody is safe, no matter how much experience you may have or how educated you are when it comes to the wilderness. They want you to think that so that they can rip the hope right out of your body. And they are actually doing that, especially with little kids. Because when they find little kids in these high elevated areas in the mountains, the first thing you say is that no kid is able to do that unless they had help. Now, the kind of help that they would get in that aspect would be somebody would have to carry them to this area and place them there and then leave them there marked for dead. But yet, 9 times out of 10, they always come back alive, yet a little scathed, from being in the elements for so long, but yet they're still alive, including the fact that they weren't wearing any shoes. Yet, your feet look fine. And that's because of strength training. If you have taken up martial arts like me, or as a martial arts buff, you would know that strength conditioning is actually a method where you are doing something continuously to the body, like punching a bag with like mung bean seeds in it, or punching a wad of newspaper or some type of punching bag. You're punching it constantly, every day, causing the bone to actually bruise itself. But what happens is over time, that same bone will be covered by a new layer of bone that heals on top of it, causing that part of your bones to become very dense, therefore stronger. And if you hit something, it's going to hurt, but it won't hurt you. That's what they call strength conditioning. So the same thing with feet. If you are running around and stomping and doing all kinds of stuff with your feet, over time, the skin is going to become tough and hard. Well, not like hard, but it'll just become tough enough for you to withstand certain blows. And also, the bone itself will become stronger, because if you bruise it from all that running around barefooted and all that stuff, what'll happen is a new layer of bone will heal right on top of it, causing it to become even more denser, therefore making it stronger. Therefore, you can actually traverse these very long distances without any problems barefooted. But also you got to look at the body as well. How can he sustain that type of travel without giving out of breath or dying right where you stand? Because let's take Keith Parkins, for example. He was found dead. Not found dead, but found barely breathing in a dry, frozen creek bed in the mountains. He was alive, but barely. He's alive today. I think he's 64 years old. He was actually showcased in the Missing 411 movie DVD. He even kept the clothes that he wore that day and showed you how it looked, because they were saying how his pants were ripped to shreds and everything. And his mother literally kept those clothes, I guess, as a reminder of the fact that they got their son back, and he kept them too. Kind of like a souvenir, I guess. But like I said, in a case like that, there's a lot of unanswered questions, because a lot of it is just plain weird. It doesn't make any sense that a young child, 2.5 years old, can travel that far. We're talking 7 to 8 miles in under 19 hours. 19 hours, people, in the cold, in the mountains. So what kind of help could he have gotten? Could Keith Parkins have been injected with some sort of serum that causes a high level of adrenaline to occur in your body, therefore giving you the energy you need to travel that far. Maybe Keith Parkins was being used as a guinea pig or some sort of science experiment that these beings were conducting, trying to see if a child could make it that far with the help of some sort of serum that creates a large amount of adrenaline to occur in the body. I don't know. That's just my educated guess. I mean, I'm grasping at straws. I'm thinking that pretty much anything possible that could have happened that could, could be used as merit, in a lot of these cases, especially with his. But there's no proof. And the bad part about all of this is that that's what everybody looks for. They look for proof. They look for evidence. They look for validation. People, if the evidence is showing you what is happening, you don't need validation. You can figure it out for yourself. If you see evidence stating that he somehow got that far and ended up barely breathing in a frozen dry creek bed with no shoes on, clothes ripped to shreds, what is that telling you? What? There were no other footprints in that area. It was just his. I don't even think they even found the footprints because it was snowing there, and I'm pretty sure the snow flowed over the footprints, causing it to be covered up completely. But the fact still remains. If the evidence is showing you what happened, it is what it is. If the evidence is showing you that he was barefooted, the evidence is showing you that he walked from point A to point E, point B, point to point, and I'm talking over 3 mountain ranges, a field and 2 fences or a fence, went through thorn bushes or brush, or maybe it was like some branches from a bush that he was running through, and those little hard and spiky branches probably ripped at his clothes and caused them to tear. It's like I said, it's anybody's guess of what it could be. And those are my factual theories. I don't even want to call them theories anymore because they are facts. That's what they are. They're just facts that aren't logical. I don't use logical facts to basically solve something like this that only has weird questions. You can't give a logical answer to weird questions. You can't. You can't answer a question like that with logical answers. You can only answer a question like that with weird answers. You need weird answers to answer a weird question. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I totally commend David Paulides for what he does. He states facts and nothing but the facts. But here's the problem. Well, it's not a problem actually. It's more of a helpful type of thing. His facts helps you understand what really happened to that boy. Okay, he even said it. He states facts and he leaves the thinking of what might have happened up to you, us. So that's why I have my channel. I'm using his facts to come up with my own answers for what happened. Okay, the questions or the evidence alone gives you the answer. It's just up to you to believe what that answer is, because you're gonna be like, oh, that's impossible. That's humanly impossible. He can't. Children can't do that. My son can't do that. You don't know that. You don't know that. They might have some type of energy in them that you don't know about. It could be determination. They say, I know I can make it. I know I can make it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Even when they get tired, they'll probably sit down for a while, and they get back up and they keep going. They keep going. And most parents will tell their child, stay put so somebody will find you. But yet they go off and they keep moving. And next thing you know, they're found at the very top of a mountain ridge. How and why would they even be up there in the first place? How did they even get away from their parents' farm or their grandparents' farm? Nobody knows, because that's where Keith Parkins was coming from. His grandparents' farm that was in the mountains. He strays away and he wanders off. Next thing you know, 19 hours later, bam, there he is. Somehow he got there. What kind of help did he get? Did he do it on his own? Maybe we are taking what our children can do for granted. We're not basically giving them enough credit for the things that they can do. Because think about it. Children are smart. They're very smart. My goddaughter is hella intelligent. Okay, she's very articulate. Same thing with my daughter. She's very intelligent. She's 16, but still, even at the age of like 3 and 5, she was still intelligent. You know, we're not giving our children enough credit to know that they're smart enough to actually think up something that will get them out of a mess. It's possible. You know, I mean, hey, give credit where credit's due. If Keith Parkins was able to do that, I say kudos to the young man, because he's alive and well today. The only problem is he has no recollection, no memory of what happened to him while he was out there. The same thing with Catherine Van Alst. She has no memory of what happened to her while she was out there for them 6 days. Why is that? Because something that they have seen was so traumatic and so scary that their own mind blocked it out of their head. I don't think so. I think that something took them, performed whatever it is they wanted to perform on them. Like maybe they wanted to see if a child can get that far and survive in the wilderness for a long period of time, or walk 7 to 8 miles in 19 hours. You know, because they know good and well that any parent is not going to believe that their child did that unless they had help, like somebody carried them there. But think about it. If a person carried them there, don't you think they would be tired too? Don't you think they'd probably be lying in the snow, probably passed out from all that walking? Unless they had like a snowmobile or a dog sled, who knows? Which I doubt it, because if that was the case, they would have found the dogs in the sled. They would have found sled marks in the snow. Unless it was snowing like crazy and the snow covered up the tracks, which is what happens, especially if we're talking about a large amount of snow that may fall in an area like that. You know, and we're talking about 20 drifts of snow here. But still, give credit where credit is due. If our children can do that and we think that they can't, that's only because we don't have any faith in our own children. Not saying that we want them to do that, but if they can do it because of determination and because of the fact that children are very energetic. You see them running around and laughing and joking around and, you know, just screaming and doing all kinds of stuff. My baby cousins do that all the time. They run around all over the place, you know, because they're small and they're very energetic. They don't know any better, but they have the energy to do all these things. And I think 2-year-olds do as well. So it's anybody's guess as to what they can really do. Okay, so when you're thinking about that, think about the fact that our children are capable of doing things that we normally wouldn't think that they're able to do. Achieve feats of wonder. You know, they got little children at the age of 5 that can play a piano better than, well, I won't say Picasso. I don't know any ancient piano players, but they can probably play a piano better than Alicia Keys at that age. You know, I mean, it's possible they have child prodigies, you know, but still, it's just weird, you know. It's very weird, and hopefully, like I said, one day we can find the answer to all these crazy questions, you know. But we need crazy answers to answer these crazy questions, okay? And nothing logical is gonna ever solve this. Nothing. Now, if something like that was to happen logically, like say a person put them out there and left them there to die, that's one thing. But you also got to look at the person that put them out there in the first place. They'd be tired. They'll probably pass out before they even get back to the mainland. Who knows? But like I said, that's just an educated guess. Anyway, guys, that's my time on this segment. I want to thank you guys for coming out to watch my channel. Once again, of course, you already know that I'm going to always have more coming. So I'll probably do a video later on tonight, and it's getting close to my vacation, which is going to be on Friday. So I'm still thinking about taking my laptop with me so I can continue to bring you guys more information on all these disappearances. I'll have to see. I got to see if I'm going to be able to even work my internet from over there, especially, hopefully the Wi-Fi won't be spotty. That way I can actually do something. Because I know when you go to certain places that have spotty Wi-Fi, it drops like crazy. You can't even surf the net because of that. But I'll have to see. So without further ado, you know how I do it. Aloha, mahalo, and ahui ho. Peace out, guys.